Good afternoon. This video is brought to you by WhiteWaveTradingStrategies.com. This afternoon, it's April 6th. We're going to take a look at Pharma, which is definitely the big dog leader here in the markets. We've seen a selling of profit taking in the utilities, and everybody's coming back into Pharma again. So let's take a quick look at the NASDAQ 100. And you can see that we've come up here once into the gap. We rolled back over this morning. And now we are starting up again. We opened up this morning, and this has been an opening range trade straight up. The gap gets filled at 46.67 or 71.5. So I'm sure that the NASDAQ's going to try to power up there and do that. And that's a weekly chart. Here it is on a daily. It's a little clearer. You know, we're coming into the midpoint of the gap, which is always a little tricky to trade. So you want to try to buy weakness. Now let's just take a look at some of the names that were in play today. Agilent Technologies looks great. This is put in an outside reversal day to the upside, and it's not overbought. The RSI is 58%, so this can definitely follow through to the upside. IDEX Laboratories put an outside reversal day to the upside in. You know, I like this chart pattern. You should see some follow through tomorrow. And we'd look for at least a test of this last high for a start, and then higher, somewhere around $82. Let's see. Instance Therapeutics. This is just starting to gain a little upside momentum. I like the breakout today on the weekly, above weekly momentum, which is last week's high above 1786. So this is a relatively inexpensive stock to trade. And you can see it's broken out into the cloud on daily momentum as well. This is the Canadian dollar. We want Cardinal Health Systems. This looks good. This is a breakout above its 200-day moving average. This is just starting to gain some momentum. So if this backs off at all against 83, the high 82s, you want to give this a go. Sarepta got upgraded today. This stock looks great. You have this huge rounded bottom here. You know, we've taken out this whole neckline. We had the first squeeze up. We've come back down. We're holding this momentum line, and now we're starting up. So I think everybody's got a high target on this. The first thing I'd look for is probably a rally to fail just shy of the 200-day. Mylanta is another one that looks good. You know, a lot of people are looking for buyouts to start up again in biotech, and this is where everybody's going to play again. Now, I mentioned IBB a couple of days ago that I liked it against 260. Last week and the beginning of this week, I talked about it, and now it's really gaining some momentum. Somewhere up around 291, this is going to pause, and then we'll see how it reacts to that level, whether it can power through it or not. And this is an ETF that you're going to want to match up with the NASDAQ 100 futures. So when the NASDAQ 100 futures start getting up to the top of the gap, which is the bottom of the gap, which is another 40 points, then you're going to start looking for price rejection in all of these. Let's see what is on my list. Envision Healthcare. So weekly is just starting to gain a little momentum. It's been oversold. We had an outside reversal higher day today, so a lot of people just bought this name today expecting some follow through. So you should have a little problem here around 2047. If it can get above that, then it'll go another $1. But there's plenty of room for this to go too. So this is one of the cheaper names that I was looking at. Acorn has been a heavily shorted name. A lot of people like this. You can see the explosion the first time up. You know, it had a pretty good sell-off and basically came back and retested March 22nd's opening range, and now it's forming up again. So this is another one to put on your radar. You know, I like this name as well. Clovis. Let's flip this up. You know, eventually a lot of these names are going to be takeover targets. If the indices are going to power higher, you know, all these companies are going to go back into play again. Something that's a little less volatile is Baxter. This has been in a nice uptrend, and it remains in a nice uptrend. Pfizer broke out. You know, this has been a big 3-4 day move in Pfizer. Now it's broken out above its 200-day moving average. So you want to buy the next pullback. You can get anything around 32 again. You can manage your risk here against the bottom of the cloud. So the closer to 32, the lower the risk this is. Now, there are a lot of different names that I looked at this morning, but I'll start spending a little bit more time looking at the biotechs again. Truthfully, I haven't looked at them in 3 months. I've not looked at biotech. But biotech's going to lead this. If the Nasdaq's going to start another leg up, it's biotech that's going to run this. That's all for tonight. Thanks for listening. Good luck and good trading.